Hi, I've been asked to cook a recipe for you. So I've selected a family favourite, which is chicken enchiladas. Basically, they're tortilla wraps wrapped up with a filling inside. We've gone for chicken, but equally you can make it vegetarian and swap it out for feta. It's fairly versatile. You can make it the way you like. It's not a traditional recipe. This is the way our family cook it and like to eat it. Okay, so you're going to need one large brown onion, a couple of cloves of garlic, some mixed peppers, whatever you've got. We've got all three. A tin of tomatoes, chopped tomatoes, some tomato paste. We've got cumin and oregano with chilli for our seasoning, salt and pepper. The chilies I tend to buy in the supermarket and whiz up when I get home so that they stay nice and fresh. I chuck them in the freezer and I can have as much or as little as I like. If you're cooking this for children, you might want to reduce the amount of chilli or even leave it out. It doesn't matter. Now we're using chicken breast, but you can use chicken thighs or leave the chicken out and make it vegetarian. Again, I said that my daughter likes feta in hers, but you could use mozzarella, which is really nice. It makes it a bit more like a pizza and children probably like it a little better. We're using wholemeal wraps to try and stay a little bit healthy. You can buy seeded, plain or gluten-free wraps, I believe. Now, when the ingredients are all cooked up and in the wrap, the topping I tend to use creme fraiche, but you could just put a little bit of cream cheese if you've got that in your fridge, or you don't need to put cream cheese or creme fraiche on, and you can just put grated cheddar on the top. It just makes it nice and tasty at the end. I tend to use spring onions and coriander scattered over the top as I put it into the oven. I think it gives it a really nice flavour. But it's not a true recipe and you can swap and change with ingredients that you have in your store cupboard. So the peppers, literally just take off the sides and make sure that you don't put the seeds in. I try and get rid of the white bits as well because they can be bitter. You'll need about a tablespoon of cooking oil. Olive oil in this case. You can use butter or any oil that you have. So once the oil's warm, pop the onions in and give them a couple of minutes before you add the chopped peppers. So when the onions have softened, just pop in the peppers. As you can see, there are an awful lot of peppers, but they will cook down. And they are the main element of the filling. So when they soften down, you can add a little sprinkle of sea salt and pepper, a good few turns of black pepper, a pinch of oregano. I tend to use about a teaspoon of cumin. I've grated the garlic into the chilli that's going in. That'll probably make us pop a little bit. And just let the spices warm a little bit before you add the tin of tomatoes. Okay, I've put in the tomato puree and I'm going to tip in the chopped tomatoes. I tend to put a little bit of water in the bottom of the tin to give it a swirl round, because I'm a bit mean and I like to get my money's worth and get all my tomato out of a tin. Okay, on the bottom of the pan you probably have a few sort of gnarly bits from where you cook the onions. The tomato will deglaze this and take these bits off. This is where all the flavour is, so don't be afraid of it. Make sure that you get it all off the bottom and into the sauce. This then needs to cook down until it becomes almost a paste. I forgot to mention, when I'm cooking with tomatoes, I often sprinkle a little bit of sugar into the tomatoes because it brings out their flavour. Okay, so it's about halfway through cooking and I've decided to do half of them as vegetarian with feta for my daughter. So at this point, just take out what you're not using with the chicken, or if you're just doing vegetarian, cook it down for a little bit longer. So if you're using chicken, pop it in and give it a stir around. It needs to cook through. It won't take very long if you've sliced it finely. Okay, so for the vegetarian, for my daughter, you just pop the filling down the centre, leaving a little gap each end, and we'll put a little bit of coriander in, then some feta, like that, good healthy amount. Then you need to tuck the sides in and roll up the middle so that you get a parcel at the end that you put into a dish ready to put the cheese on top. So for the chicken one, take a similar amount and pop it in the middle of the wrap and do the same. Now, one child doesn't like coriander, the other one does, so I will put coriander in and play Russian roulette. Wrap it all up and pop it in the dish. Okay, I could have made them neater and tidier, bearing in mind they were on video, but I'm a bit of a slapdash cook, so they don't have to be perfect. They're a family supper. So about a teaspoon of creme fraiche on each. It gives the cheese something to stick to and makes a really nice topping. Then we scatter over the spring onions and coriander. Again, it doesn't matter how it looks because it's how it tastes. And then finally, as generous amount as you like of the grated cheese, whatever you've got in the fridge. Sometimes we put mozzarella on top, sometimes we put parmesan on top. It just depends what we've got in the house. Okay, and then this goes into the oven for about half an hour, 40 minutes at about 180 until it's golden and bubbly. These went into the oven at 180 degrees. And when you cut them open, you have a delicious filling inside. I usually serve with some lettuce, greens, whatever you've got.